Hello, Mr. A. Hey, Poppy. Today we are going to have a note pulling session. I am going to be pulling my notes up concerning the Summer Wells case. If anybody's got any questions, if I do have it in my notes, I will absolutely try to have a conversation with you about it. I really don't need any nonsense in my chat today. Hey, Eve. Hey, Night. So if you are escorted out, then that is your own fault, I'll say. But we are going to start with a song so I can get my notes pulled up. Here we go. This is a song, just song. All right. Like I said, I am going to be going over a couple of videos. A couple creators did. I do have their links in my description. And even though the links are in my description, if I don't get a chance to go over them, please feel free to go check them out. They've got some pretty interesting things. So I am going to start with, this is my problem. When I look at my notes, it's like, where do I start? Okay. Let's do this. BB Australia's got a video out. I found it very interesting. I'm going to share it. I am going to share it. Like I said, please just feel free to talk about Summer's case. If you're questioning something that's being said.
Treat her like that.
Okay, hold on. Hold on. Like I said, the link to this is in the description. So let's start this out with, okay, I'm going to start out with this. Let me turn the closed caption on, and I am going to do the playback speed just a little bit quicker. Very interesting stuff. Okay, so let me start out with this, and then I'll pull up my notes. Moonflower. Oh, thank you so much. I know, I love older music like that. I really do. I think music soothes the soul, for real. Okay, here we go. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Hold on to your whatever you need to hold on to. Hello, Stephen, the discussion reseller. Hope you're having a fantabulous day. Okay, here we go. Like I said, this is Phoebe Australia. I do like the videos and stuff that she puts out, so please consider going over and checking her out. Okay, so this begins, hey CM, with Candace. So here we go. That picture right there, Candace and Summer have the same color eyes, the exact same color.
Nobody would ever treat her
Did I
like
say
that.
hi, Sam? Hi, Sam.
I was around.
Now, that always threw us off when she said that, right? You guys remember when Candace was like, nobody would hurt her if I was around, right? Well, guess what, Candace Bly Wells? In my opinion, you wasn't around. You wasn't. I don't think you were anyway. That is my opinion, and I'm sticking with that opinion. I truly believe when you went to ask the boys to keep an eye on Summer, I truly believe you left the hill that day. Now, that kind of contradicts what your friend Marlena Crawford said, right? Marlena says that you called her about 4:30, telling her then that Summer was already gone. Whether that is true or not, I do not know, people. I do not know. Because then the time changed to, a different time. So
Who was the kid at the hotel with you? I'm going to answer this because it was not Summer. It was my child. Okay? Move along.
All right. This is Kathy, the friend. Obviously, Kathy, if we remember correctly, Kathy, the friend was, okay, let me ask you this just to make sure. I want this verified in my mind. Kathy, the friend, took Candace to see the boys. Candace went live from a motel room. It showed a child. And was that child? No, because Kathy, the friend's child, was older, right? Okay, if anybody knows, I don't really want to go back and find exactly who it was, right? Yeah, nobody keeps track of time. Yeah, when they're having fun. That's exactly what they said. Yep, they don't keep track of time when they're having fun. Were you having fun that day, Candace? Inquiring minds want to know. Hey, Eve. Yeah, Kathy. Yeah, so allegedly Kathy's the one who took Candace to see the boys. They stayed at a hotel, and the child that was there was Kathy's daughter. Allegedly.
That, which I did reluctantly share her PayPals and stuff. If she wants to do it behind the scenes where nobody knows, pretty much.
She's talking about, Ziggy is talking about Jody and sharing Jody's cash apps and shit. A lot of people did that. I didn't, you know. The money and all of the people that made a crap load of money, I don't sit around and think about that shit all the time. I truly don't feel that it had anything to do with Summer going missing that day. The only way that any amount of money would be relevant in Summer's case, and this is just me in my opinion, is to if money was owed to someone, they didn't get that money back, blah, blah, blah. We are going to also be talking about the little CPS report that, Ziggy, was so special in the case that, they sent Ziggy paperwork on CPS and shit concerning the wells. I don't believe yeah. Okay. Hey, Linda.
Scenes where nobody knows, pretty much.
Like her name's not been mentioned, and she was there that been staying there like the whole week before. So it's up to the night before she was missing.
This is Fred trying to say that Marlena's name at the time hadn't been mentioned. Fred is trying to say that she stayed there the whole week before Summer went missing, coming up to the night. Okay, we know that Marlena's daughter was there. Please don't say her name in chat, okay? She's just a little girl. I don't necessarily remember anyone stating that Marlena herself had been up there. Now, my question is this. How does Fred know? How would Fred know unless he, A, talked to Marlena, or B, went up to 110 Ben Hill Road and seen Marlena there? Because just because somebody may see Marlena in the area doesn't mean that she was at 110 every time. For sure. Now, Marlena herself said that she took a lie detector test. I don't know why she said it, but she did.
Mentioned that night.
The what?
He's mentioned that first night that Summer went missing. He mentioned that.
Yeah, he's mentioned her that night. Said something about
her old man.
Marlena's old man. Daniel is, I've been trying to think what his name is. Daniel.
You know what gets me? Fred acting like, oh, what's her old man's name? Oh, let me think about it. Oh, I can't remember. Come on, Fred. You knew everybody in that area. If you knew where there were cameras, if you knew where there were trail cameras, if you knew everyone in that holler, and I mean, come on, Fred, come on.
Daniel, who's that? Who is
It's a funny name, last name. He's always in jail.
Who was he to? Was he
It was Marlena's old
husband? Okay.
Yeah. But see, her name not being brought up in this at all. And like a little girl and stuff that's been seen down there, that's Marlena's little girl.
Well, that's not right. No, there was a little girl that was.
They're trying to say that the little girl on the swing and stuff was, hey, Victoria, was Marlena's daughter. From I don't know, but I don't think that little girl ever went back to 110 Ben Hill Road, but I can't be sure on that. We know that they are very adamant that the little girl said Summer had a little suitcase packed and that she was going to be going away. Then it came out and the Marlena added the Summer and her daddy, and it was only going to be Summer and Dawn that were supposed to have been leaving. So it's very hard when things get added, because it's like, why didn't you just say that to start with? So they are adamant about that. That is what the grown-ups are saying. Okay, the grown-ups are saying that.
Was there the day before Summer went missing.
See, the little girl played with Summer a lot. Stayed there, played with her.
Yeah, they call her Summer's best friend, and I thought it was the husband. Yeah.
But how do you know all that, Fred? How did you know that someone was in a pool with Summer? Was you at 110? Right? Girl, I don't know, CM. I don't know.
I thought it was a husband. I didn't think it was Marlena that was there, but you're saying Marlena was there the day before Summer.
Yeah, she was there.
How you know that, Fred? Were you there? Were you at 110? Tell us how you knew that.
I tried messaging her. I tried.
She was there the day Summer went missing, is what he just said. How do you know that? You cannot see 110. You cannot see on the top of the hill to see who's there, right? I don't know, Fred.
Tried messaging her, but I don't know if she used it.
People trying to keep her out of scene for some reason. I don't understand that.
Well,
because I've looked at a lot of stuff that I don't think her name be brought up in none of it. And a lot of them.
if you're ready to go,
And Marlena's name was brought up in it from the very beginning. Dawn said they were up there and things were being taken off the property illegally. Dawn did come out and absolutely say things about Marlena. So, yeah, I agree, Linda. They were watching. They definitely were watching YouTube.
go down there. I understand. Like if you're going to go, I'm going to leave here in a second.
Well, Emma Lou, nobody asked you, so it doesn't matter. Move along. Doesn't matter who I am. I'm a friend and a supporter, just like me in here.
She's a dear friend of mine. Love her to death.
See, this gets me too. Public service announcement. If, and this is my opinion, you believe you are friends with this person, Candace Bly Wells, and you are a dear friend, you may want to really think about that. I'm just saying, it doesn't seem like her friendships have worked out real well. I'm just saying, right? And this is the thing too. Individuals from that area were absolutely watching YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, whatever. Anything, any content that was speaking on Summer, the locals were watching it. They were watching it.
No, I'm not related to her.
Your daughter see a suitcase packed for Summer.
Here we go. This is
around the time
Marlena.
she went missing.
Yes, she did. She told me when Grandma or whatever, Grandpa, whatever her name is,
Grandass.
Grandass, yeah, when Grandass brought her home that morning, she said that she seen a suitcase and it was packed, that her and her daddy was going away, and it was just her and her daddy. Nobody else was going. It was just her and her father going.
Okay, so when this first came out, I'm trying to remember exactly what creator brought it out. It could have been Lips. I can't remember. That whole thing was a shit show with Marlena and Lips and all that. That was just manufactured chaos for real. Hey, Jackie. Good to see you. You're decorating. Awesome sauceum. Okay, so if you guys remember, Marlena said she took a lie detector test. She said that they took her phone. I don't know why they would have done that unless they were verifying the times that Candace had contacted her. That whole thing's kind of weird. The bad thing about it, once you get caught contradicting something else that you've said, you have to really take into account if you believe what these people are saying or not, for sure. And I am getting ready to pull my notes up, guys. I'm getting ready.
And yes,
Yeah.
my daughter has talked to the police. Yes, my daughter has talked to FBI. So yes, they do know this. She went there on a Tuesday night, and she was supposed to
And I
stay for a
think
week, but
that's
it was
the
in the
part
summer, and she
people
was
aren't
eligible, and they were
understanding.
Now, Phoebe's got another individual that is speaking. So it's weird because Marlena's talking, but Phoebe's got another voice coming through. So, now, my understanding when Grandma Candy Hair took Marlena's daughter to her grandmother's, that there was also another individual that was given a ride home too. But yeah, that's just what I heard. So it comes out that Marlena's daughter sees Summer with a suitcase packing to go away with Dawn. Marlena freaks out at some point and says that someone had told her that Fred was going to try to take her daughter away. That was all weird to me. Because behind the scenes, I can give you a little bit about what was going on, only because I know for a fact I have text messages. They were trying to somehow get Marlena's daughter away from Marlena and given to her family. I don't know what the big deal about that was. From my understanding, Marlena's family had already been helping her and keeping her daughter. Marlena she was homeless. So I never understood that. It didn't make any sense to me. Why would you why would you do that? It just didn't make any sense to me at all.
Supposed to go to wetlands and stuff like that because
There's a
my car was
difference
down.
between what's
And
known,
Candace said, let me have her.
what's
I'm
been
going to the
said,
wetlands. I'll pay
and
for
what's
it all.
been
And John will take
assumed.
care of her. And I'll bring her
I'm
back
not
to you on
claiming
Sunday evening when we
certainty
get back, or
here.
you can pick her up. We just stay
I'm
in
not
touch.
saying
And I'll let you
anything
know. Well,
definitively
I didn't have time
happened.
to stay in touch because Friday morning
I'm
about 10
explaining
o'clock,
where the confusion
Granddad was
comes
bringing
from
my
and why
daughter to
people
the
are
bottom of the hill
mixing
and dropped
things
her
Now
off.
up.
she's saying at 10 o'clock in the morning. I thought that Grandma Candy Hair took Marlena's daughter back after church. Right? Or did they take her before? Because she's saying 10 o'clock. She said Friday morning. See, this doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense.
At my house.
Right.
There was a
Where I lived at that
child
time in
there.
Davidson.
She
And
was there
my
the
daughter,
day
while she was at
before.
home so soon, she
She
said that,
interacted with
here
Summer.
comes the suitcase thing,
That
said
much
that
keeps
her
coming
dad
up
and her
again
was
and
going away on
again.
a field trip and she had to come home.
The issue is that names
Said Summer was going on a field trip and she had to come home.
On
and
trip somewhere.
identities keep getting
They were going away
attached
for a couple
without
days and she had to come
confirmation.
Did,
When
did,
Marlena's
did,
name
did your
comes
daughter
up,
say that she saw
people jump
actually saw
straight to
the suitcase,
conclusions.
actually saw it packed?
All I'm
Yes,
saying
my daughter
is that
seen
it
it
may
packed.
have
She's
been
seen them
Journey,
putting clothes into a
Marlena's
suitcase. They
daughter.
also seen, or she also
Not
said
that
that
it
she picked out her favorite
absolutely
dress to
was.
take with her. I mean,
I don't
what
have
she
proof
did,
of
she had a
that.
favorite dress. It was
I'm
not
not
They're saying Summer had a favorite dress. She also picked that out. It's kind of hard to hear it with the other voice in there too. Okay, so let me move over. Hold on. I wrote the page number down this time, you guys, so that way I'd be able to find it without making you guys wait forever. Okay, let's go to page 96. 96. Let's talk about the CPS report. The alleged CPS report. That because Ziggy, she was the go-to person in Summer's case, that, a alleged CPS worker decided they were going to send Dawn and Candace's report. Now, I probably wouldn't even have paid much attention to this, but I did. I did. Yep, Summer's birthday is the 4th, you guys. It is the 4th. Yeah, field trip. Yeah, that is kind of weird wording, isn't it? For sure. So let's talk a little bit about the CPS report. And then I want to let you guys listen to Ziggy allegedly talking to a lady of the night's friend that she proceeds to tell us about Dawn visiting and allegedly like $3,000 owing. He left this motel that they said he frequented, Halo, right? Okay, here we go. Okay, so this CPS report, hold on, I'm going to, you can see that on, let me check something real quick, you guys, before I start reading that. Because I just had that up. I could kick myself in the booty. Because I knew when I pulled that up. Let me see if I can find it. Let me see if I can find that somehow. No, I'm not going to be able to find it. Fuck, I had it right in front of me. Let me see. Hold on. Here it is. Okay, hold on. Hold on. I'm sorry, you guys. I start looking at my notes and stuff. I'm trying to put it into some kind of order. My notes are in order. It's just everything else. I wanted to see if I could actually find it up there, but I don't think I'm going to be able to. I don't think I'm going to be able to find it like that. Okay, hold on. I'm bringing my notes back up. So, okay, a creator allegedly got a CPS report on what law enforcement, what CPS was investigating as far as the wells. I am not going to say that these things are factual. I do not know. It's just kind of interesting. You know, hey, Lorianne, it's kind of interesting here. It's just for conversational purposes, okay? So this CPS report stated that Don, and like I said, I'm not going to sit here and say this is factual. So I don't believe that the CPS report period was factual. It was written really well, I'll say that. So this alleged report stated that Don and Candace both had positive substance screenings. Okay? That they both had positive substance screenings for crack-a-lacka. It states the situation is worse than many believe. Right? They would not be getting the boys back. It stated that they had 1 full year of the onset of the case for the final hearing, and the parents' reunification was not on the parents' service plan. So a lot of times if a child gets taken by CPS, they want family members to take the child or children if they can. It's much easier for a reunification with the parents. Also, only because I remember this off the top of my head, it was stated that no one from none of the family took the boys. Also, no one involved with the SDA church would take the boys either. Hang on, I'm trying to plug my phone up. It just My phone just told me it's going to die if I don't plug it up. Let me save your life, phone. Okay. There we go. Phone is plugged up. Right? Oh, shit. Ugh, I am so uncoordinated today. I just can't with myself. Okay, so I don't know if Dawn and Candace tested positive for any substances. None of us can say that. I don't really believe they'd even show us any paperwork confirming that. But yes, one thing is parent reunification. CPS always tries to keep a child or children with family members if at all possible. And the family said no. And from my understanding, no one in the church would, take the boys either. The reasoning for that, I don't know. I do remember Mary, Dawn's stepsister, saying that the family didn't even know the kids. The family didn't even know the kids. They didn't know. They didn't know Summer. They didn't know the boys. Mary talked about when Dawn brought the oldest there when he was looking, he was working and they were going to, at one time move to Utah. Dawn wanted to go back to Utah. Mary stated that the oldest boy was in the home because he and Dawn stayed in a camper or something out in the driveway. And so he was inside the home. Dawn came home. He was very angry. It just seemed to me like Dawn didn't want Mary or any of them possibly asking the oldest boy questions. That's what it would seem to me, but I don't know. So the parent reunification, this is totally my opinion. I don't think that I have to sit and wonder if they knew the minute CPS took the boys off the hill. I wonder then if they knew they wasn't going to get them back or had already known that they were going to sign them over, right? Because Don, he threw a big fit. I can't do all this stuff. I'm working. I just showed you guys where Kathy the friend took Candace to go see the boys. You would have thought that would have gave her some initiative to get the boys back. Now, this is the way I feel about it. Don't freaking cry because you don't have your kids now. Don't even. Nobody made you sign your boys over. For real. Okay. So, you got to kind of think that Don really understand the depths of his self-incriminations. Things that Don said were it just crazy. This whole case is just bizarre. This CPS report also stated, which the possibility of it being not true is kind of high. But it stated that they did not pass the GNT. It came back non-conclusive for having guilty knowledge, which can mean that They're possibly took some kind of medication or a sedative to. Okay. So Dawn says when they go to do these lie detector tests, Dawn says that, what was it? They were too tired, that they had been up for a couple days. Right? That's what he said. So I just wish Dawn would show us the lie detector test. Fred did. Why can't they, right? Supposedly TBI gave the test. At this time, no law enforcement came out at any time to defend these parents. They still have not came out to defend these parents. I mean, at this time, that report tried to say that the parents were under surveillance, having someone infiltrating the Ben Hill property, and also GPS and phones. Now, I don't know if that's true, but you guys remember people were coming out saying that, Tim Mullins was possibly an undercover agent or something like that. This is what I want to say about that. There were many individuals who did go on that property that absolutely were telling law enforcement everything that was being said and done. Okay? There was more than one person doing that. Hey, Appy, how are you? Right? I'm not going to get into the foster care. Did you guys know that Dawn had an alias? John Wesley Miller. John Wesley Miller was one of Dawn Wells's aliases. I forgot all about that. I truly did. Thank you, Notes. Which has criminal charges associated with it. It's in Texas. I have in my notes that that crimes have been merged with the help of Dawn Wells's fingerprints. That's wild. I forgot all about that. John Wesley Miller. We know that the judge order absolutely made the juvenile case, placed a gag order on it. Now, a lot of people, we're just having conversations, so you guys please just hang out. And I never saw any of Candace's legal paperwork, arrest reports, whatever you want to call them. I never seen a alias on her name that I remember. And I think JLR has all of that. JLR FOIA, JLR got a lot of different things on Candace. If I remember correctly, the worst thing that I felt she ever did was it's that case that had to do with her oldest son and daughter. That was the worst. Okay. a lot of people felt that Dawn and Candace, they wrote this little script and it was a scheme to collect the reward money. Right? Now, they say that the boys were taken under the Parental Child Safety Placement Act, which means you are not trustworthy to have children/minors around you. At the time, they were saying that that is the worst level in a removal status. They said Dawn and Candace had been under investigation for a while. Now, okay, we heard that, right? Yeah, Appy, JLR definitely, FOIA requested a bunch of that. So, if I remember, I'll drop his link. I don't think I have any mods in here right now. And that's okay if I don't, but they deserve a break because they're wonderful. All right, we'll give them a paid day off. We'll give them a paid day off. Okay, so where was I? Where are you, RC? Okay, so we know the judge put a gag order on the case concerning the boys. We also know that Dawn almost immediately tried to break that gag order. If I remember correctly, it was like one of the first visits with the boys. Dawn, from what I remember, I believe it was the oldest one, I could be wrong, wanted to have conversations about Summer with the oldest one. I don't know why. Right? Because let me say this. Why are you going to break a gag order to talk with your child about Summer when the day Summer went missing, you drove right past the boys? You didn't stop. You didn't say, oh my gosh, boys, stick together, even though you say they knew to stick together. If your daughter's missing and you feel like she's been taken, wouldn't the first thing you do is, if the boys are in your eye, you know, in your line of sight, wouldn't you stop and say, oh my gosh, boys, are you okay? When did you see Summer last? Just tell me what you know, guys. We need to find your sister. He didn't do that. He didn't do that. Now, I know some people are like, no, that wasn't weird. Well, it was weird to remain calm. I'm just saying. Would you have, I mean, seriously, would you have, if you had other children and you got one missing, I would think the first thing someone would do is make sure physically look at and speak to the 3 individual children that were the last to allegedly see your daughter. But I don't know, right? Well, look, from my understanding, they made a crap load of money. They made a crap load of money off their daughter missing. They had so many gift cards that they were giving them away to people. They were. I had many people tell me that they were offered gift cards. And I believe that. I do believe that part of it. Right? Okay, so we seen Candace when she did the WJHL interview. A lot of people thought that maybe she was sedated a little bit. I'm not going to sit here and say she was. I don't know. I do know that around that time is when she got the what is it called? Why do I want to say Jillian Barr? It's not Jillian Barr. What's it called when your face from stress? I can't remember. Molly Golightly had it too. But Candace had that. Okay. So, Don said he wouldn't show the, how come my mind just fucking went blank? The lie detector test. I mean, the dude made up a fucking story, right? He was like, I had the lie detector test paperwork with me when I went to jail. When I got out of jail, it wasn't with my stuff anymore. Well, that's weird. Why would you take that with you? And why would anybody from law enforcement want it when all they would have to do is pull it up in their records? They wouldn't have to physically take the paper. Bell's palsy. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Okay. And Don says, I was going to get a copy and show it to everybody, but it wouldn't make a difference. Yes, Don, it would. I want to see it. Show it to me. I want to see it. I really do. Okay, so let's see what else I got here. Yeah, I don't know if they came. It says here that it was Coca-Cola or the Crack-a-Lack and the math. So I'm not sure why in this report, alleged report, we'll say, that it said that Dawn showed up with math also. Now, from what I hear, and I've heard it the whole time, this whole case, is that Don Wells admitted to liking the Coca-Cola, but, was adamant that he didn't like people who did math. And so for this report to state that he, came up positive for that, it's just kind of interesting. I'm not saying they did or didn't. I just know what that report was trying to say. I do agree that every law enforcement and CPS were sitting back, watching everything that Dawn and Candace did online. Absolutely. We're going to talk a little bit about the $2,000 substance run that Dawn took too. Just a little cray-cray. Just a little. Where am I? So like I said, I can't tell you this is factual, and I'm not going to tell you it's factual. I wasn't there. I have seen no receipts except for Dawn and Candace's own words. And Tim Mullins put out the paperwork showing that, the investigation into them concerning their 3 boys was finished They made sure to show us that, right? Okay, so I don't know if they were under investigation. We do know that Don says that he had, what the heck is it called? How come I'm forgetting these easy words? It would be, what is it? Lone Star? OnStar. I don't remember, some shit. Okay, so, you know, he's got 7 alibis. Candace has none. At the time, this individual tried to state that they knew where the boys were. I truly don't know if this person knew where they were at or not. John Wesley Miller. Don, why'd you go by John Wesley Miller? Inquiring minds want to know. But absolutely, this person felt that they were using Summer going missing to receive money from individuals. And you can kind of see that. I'm sure a lot of people can see that. Okay, I talked about the parental child safety placement. We talked about that. Let's see. Okay, so this also states that Dawn and Candace had been under CPS investigation for a while. It said Candace was avoiding them, knowing that she would have to do a substance test, and kids being removed the day Summer went missing are false. Well, no, the kids were not taken away that day. I did hear. So, you know, oh, Starling, thank you. Thank you. This is the thing. Everyone was watching YouTube. Everyone was seeing what everybody else said from that area on YouTube. A lot of times with Dawn and Candace, especially Dawn, they would watch YouTube creators, and if a creator was questioning something, Dawn would come out and either tell a big story about it or something like that. They absolutely were doing that, for sure. So we heard that Allie and Candace were kind of going back and forth calling CPS on each other. I'm sure that when Allie called law enforcement and told them, for those of you who need to know, Allison was Candace's best friend. She loved her. And a man came in between them. Allison called law enforcement and said that Candace had a pew-pew and threatened her with it. Did anybody get that part of the conversation there that they put out? Somebody FOIA'd that call, and it's out there. I, off the top of my head, can't tell you where to find it, but it is out there. Allison's children were up on the hill, and she wanted her kids. And that's what I don't understand is, okay, well, okay. All right. Now, I don't know why Mary and them didn't take the boys. She couldn't take them at the time, and that's completely understandable. But those kids didn't know them. Now, Dawn's sister, Sonia, was closer, but she couldn't take them. And because if I remember correctly, I'll say allegedly, but it is out there somewhere. Dawn's sister Sonia's husband was a registered offender. Now, she's Dawn's sister. He loves his sister. And she did come out and say that Dawn wasn't any of those things that people were saying. But that's her brother. So a lot of people absolutely felt like it was just a game for Dawn and Candace. They started making money, and the money kind of, to a lot of us, seemed to override the fact that they had a missing daughter that needed to be found. For sure. Now, could they absolutely know what happened? Let me see what else I got here on that. I've got more stuff on it. So the boys were 12, 11, and 9 at the time they were taken. Those are the ages I have. I could be wrong. I could be off on that. 12, 31, even. That would make, yeah, I may be off on those ages. Okay, so this is the neglect categories. Environmental neglect. Houses in deplorable condition, inadequate beds, soiled mattresses, no clean bedding. Nutritional. Boys not provided healthy meals, which of course you're going to have the need for a child to have access to up to 3 meals a day. Jody said that they seen the boys fighting over food. This CPS report could have been written by anyone who was paying attention to social media. Okay? We had already known that the boys were fighting over food. That came out. Jody talked about it. I think Andy even talked about it, right? Now, if you think about the medical, there was a picture of Summer sitting in a dental chair, right? Am I wrong about that? So I'm not sure about them not receiving dental care and stuff. But we do know that, well, we don't know, but we've heard about the lice problem at the house. Someone tried to say that there was also scabies involved, right? Now, as far as the educational part, this report tried to say missing school, missing assignments, not turned in by the boys. Some of the boys possibly had educational needs that they needed to be taken care of. Now, and we don't know anything about that stuff. So lack of supervision, boys being left alone for sometimes up to 6 hours. You could have got that off of YouTube. All you got to do is realize on that day how long the boys allegedly had been home by themselves. And I'm going to tell you right now, we don't know if Dawn was home that day. I don't care what anybody says. We do not know if Dawn was at that home that day. Nobody really talks about that much at all. For sure. So a lot of this is stuff that is just, you can get it from listening to YouTube, different people on YouTube. So if you get into the physical abuse, it says here that the boys were, not treated very well by Dawn and Candace, period. Somewhere along the line, kicking, punching, hair pulling, hit with objects, shoes and other items. We don't know if that's true. I don't think anybody's ever showed receipts on that. Now, what would have been interesting is I'm pretty sure that they did a substance test on the boys, right? That is probably a must. And I just lost my notes. Hold on. So that, psychologically harmed with words and threats, sometimes lasting several hours a day. Well, let me tell you what I say about that, right? Because I've always said when Summer went missing, if you look at what Dawn and Candace were showing us, the arguing between them, the abuses of substances and alcohol or whatever, I couldn't imagine what those boys were going through before they were taken from that home. I couldn't imagine. To me, that is just something that I have always said. I've always said that. Then you've got Dawn and the oldest doing an interview. I believe it was with Brian Enton. Is that the one with Brian Enton? Where this young boy, makes a comment that it made me think that things were being said to these boys and questions being asked, possibly. All right. So at this time, of course, it was coming out that Candace was being investigated for having a relationship with Hunter, right? We do not know that to be factual. Now, in this alleged fake CPS report, in my opinion, of course, I believe it's fake. Whoever wrote it's pretty good at, putting the words together. Andrew Hiltz actually called Child Protective Services or Law Enforcement One and was trying to get charges filed on Candace for messing with his son. If Candace was doing that at 110 Ben Hill Road, common sense would tell you that where were her children when this alleged involvement with Hunter? Where were the kids, right? So that would mean that common sense would tell you, if that was transpiring and the kids were around, that it was going on in the same house with them. At the time, they tried to say that Candace was harassing H's girlfriend, too. Why would you go back to Hunter's, Candace, you and Grandma, to ask him what he told law enforcement? What did Hunter know that you were concerned he was going to tell law enforcement? Now, I can't say that it's true they went there, but Allie even said they came there. Were you so worried about getting in trouble for your other fuck shit so much that you would not tell law enforcement specific things because you didn't want to get in trouble, and you were more concerned with you than you were your daughter missing? Do you think Dawn and Candace both know what happened to their daughter? Do you think Dawn only knows? Do you think Candace only knows? Do you think maybe they feel like each other know what happened, but they're not going to snitch on each other, right? Guess what, Candace? There's no more children. No more children, biological children, in your life anymore. So when you basically say you're not going to snitch on Don for nothing because he's the father of your children, guess what? He gave up that right. He gave up that right to be a father to your children. If you know something or you feel a certain way, like he may know what happened to your daughter, why don't you help? Planned event. Yeah. Well, I mean, she was asking for laptop for the boys. I don't know why, because I don't know how they would have got those laptops, but I don't think that was Rose Meyer, was it? Right? Well, Candace loves Gatlinburg. If you look at the message where she messaged this guy, the guy didn't even tell her he knew she had a missing daughter, and Candace didn't mention it. I want to play that lady of the night. Hold on, I gotta find that. Okay. Da-da-da-da. At this time, there was a long list of charges. We know they gave the boys away. They gave the boys up. Okay, so the timeline story, we heard that, where Dawn allegedly said, we got to get the timeline worked out right. Even back then, I've got Tim Mullins is doing a documentary. So, time and money were put into the home to get it ready for the boys. There was an individual that was helping, and Candace got pissed off because the person ended up getting the Rona. And I mean, from my understanding, she talked to this girl like shit. Candace was saying she was leaving Dawn. She kept saying that. That's Tim Mullins. I ain't even finished talking about Tim Mullins. He's such a freaking weirdo. I've already showed the weird stuff he was saying in the contradiction. Okay. The timeline, working on the timeline. Okay, so this is about phones. Do you guys remember when the Dawn Wells's Facebook account was deactivated? You guys remember that story about that? Now, this is what I have on Candace leaving the hill twice that day. Okay? Law enforcement said she left the hill twice that day. This is what I have in my notes. She said, no, I didn't. And they said, yes, you did. We saw it on your phone. Wow, that's interesting. I forgot about that little remark. If she was at the gas station, right? If she was at the gas station hanging out in the bathroom, you would think that she would be on her phone, right? Water park was why Marlena's daughter was there. H said Candace asked if he could go to the water park Friday. He needed, yeah, his probation officer. Yeah, Lorianne. Hey, the mouse. She had a whole list of things they needed. Well, I never really, I didn't really follow that aspect of, people asking. I remember Dawn coming out and talking about laptops or something for the kids. I mean, I remember that. So, did they see on Candace's device something that told them she was not on the hill? at a specific time. Now, a lot of people automatically assumed, oh, I mean, that's fine. I really, I know who Rosemeyer is. I mean, I don't know her personally, but I know who you're talking about. Okay, well, I mean, that was after Summer went missing, and I remember Dawn talking about it. I think that they, thought if they could get some devices for the boys, that, they could somehow keep in contact with them or something. So, and from my understanding, that was Grandma's girlfriend, right? Longtime girlfriend or something. I believe she's in a nursing home now or something. I could be wrong. I don't know. And a lot of people were adamant that Dawn Wells, okay, well, that even makes it less nefarious. If she was asking before the boys got taken, it sounds like she was just trying to do something nice for the boys then, right? Kind of what it sounds like if it was before the boys were taken. Clyda Trent had the boys. The night the boys were taken by CPS, they allowed the boys to spend the night with Clyda Trent. Candace also spent that night with the boys wherever Clyda Trent was. Okay? Clyda, you can put in the search bar Clyda Trent. It's going to pull up an interview that she did. So, coming and going. Well, I know, Sage, but the thing about it is, look at the area. There could have been people that came up to 110 that nobody's seen. Now, maybe Candace and Dawn knew somebody, when people were up there. But if they don't say who had been in and out of their home, then that doesn't mean everybody's going to know. Right? So in my notes, I have her saying that law enforcement told her they saw it on her phone. So if she was in the bathroom on the phone messing around, then, right? Yeah, the deactivated Facebook. I remember that. Phones are mentioned. So I can almost guarantee you there were devices that law enforcement were not given. Okay, So allegedly at this time, which was easy to find out on YouTube, on social media, because they talked about this themselves, that they were allowed 2 times a month to see the boys. We do know that Candace went once in November and once in December, with a visit being canceled at Christmas because they went on vacation. I don't know where I got that. Dawn and Candace were supposed to be going to NAAA meetings, but weren't. We know that neither one would go to rehab. Okay. It says here, someone offered to pay for Candace a place and offered to give her rides to see the boys, and she turned it down. Do you guys remember Don Wells complaining because how far he had to go to see the boys? Hey, H. Andy's phone went out a window. Josie's phone went into the oven, and Candace went into the water. You mean Jose's? Jose said he threw it. Yeah, I was getting ready to say, Sage. Jose said he threw his phone in the ocean. And why would you do that? Why would you admit to that? Why would you throw your phone in the ocean because you're upset with Candace for dropping the restraining order that she got on Dawn while Jose was at 110 Ben Hill Road, you know, emotionally saving Candace, you know, holding her when she cried and stuff like that? Why would Jose get upset over that? Let me say this. Them saying Jose was going through some emotional problems, if you really cared about the guy, I think maybe a little consideration would have been thought of when you just were like, hey, stay here. Stay here with my baby mama. Stay here with my baby mama. That's what Andrew said, right? Stay here with Allie. And it's okay if you want to sleep with her too. I'm sorry. That's a weird bunch. A weird bunch. So yes, Jose, who's only known Candace for, how long was he even there? I don't even know how long. I don't even remember how long he was there, right? Yet when the you know, shit hit the fan at the end of October when Jose was there, why would Jose get angry enough to throw his phone in the ocean? I have another question. How would he have even, if he's out in the middle of the ocean, I guess they have Wi-Fi, right? That's weird to me. I'm going to have to Google that. I am going to have to Google it. A lot of people stated, and I do believe this, if they would have stayed off YouTube and took the help that people was trying to spend their time, their money. I believe the house would have been done within a matter of probably days, and they would have got the boys back. That's why I said I don't, I just don't believe, and it's my opinion, that they had any intention of getting the boys back at all. There was an altercation between Dawn and Candace when Benny was there. We've talked about this before. You know, Benny talked about Dawn really losing his shit, it sounded like, right? Okay. Okay. So what if Hunter did go back to the house with them? Because don't forget, Candace made it clear to Chris McDonough that while they were at the swim hole, Hunter starts talking about going back to Candace's, right? She makes it clear to Chris McDonough that she told him, you ain't coming back to my house. Why would she have felt the need to say that? Why would she have felt the need to say that? So, if that was the case and Hunter went to the house, Candace took him back home. While Candace was taking him home, the boys called Dawn because Grandma was sleeping and told Dawn that Summer had wandered off. Dawn, being the hothead he is, goes back to Ben Hill, takes Summer to get back at Candace. Does that make sense? That may not make sense. Does that make sense? Because Don was very adamant to let us all know that he felt something was going to happen on Candace's watch. So what better way to get back at Candace, right? What better way to get back at Candace? What do you mean, Sage? Which part? I don't know which part you're talking about, babe. You have to enlighten me. My psychic powers aren't working very well. I'll be glad to play it for you is it something I already played? So what if Dawn got pissed off? I don't know if he did or not. I'm just saying. Oh yeah, that's on Chris McDonough's. That is on Chris McDonough's, The Watering Hole. You want to hear how she says back? Okay. Hold on a second, you guys. Hang on. All right, hang on. Dang it. Dang it. Okay, so you want to hear, yeah, she said back. Well, no, she may not have. Okay, hold on, I'm going to get it for you. Interview room, Candace Wells. Let's, this is at the swimming hole right here. Let me see if I can find it. Hold on, there's a commercial. I believe I can almost find it for us too. It was, I don't know. I don't want to play the whole thing. Okay, I got it pulled up. I'll, check it here in just a second. Okay. So Don Sherfy Sr. allegedly had done work on the property when Don's mom was alive. Okay. Yeah. I mean, that's just another kind of theory that I had, that, you know, the possibility that Hunter went home with them. But then again, you have to remember that allegedly Hunter had an appointment. First, it was he had a doctor's appointment, and then it was his probation officer. Then it was his probation officer was coming to the house. Then it was the girlfriend's mom picked him up. So what appointment he absolutely had that day, I do not know. So that would put him as not having the time to come back to the house, right? Kind of weird. Okay, let me find this. All right, this is where Ziggy's talking about, this is Dawn telling the story about getting the money out of the bank to go buy substances. And this is Killer Looks. The link to his channel is in my description for sure. I don't want to play any music. There we go. Closed captions are on, you guys. It's fine, Sage.
I hope they're listening to this phone call. I went and $2,000 on my account. I went to Knoxville, bought $2,000.
Don went and took $2,000 out of his bank account. He goes to Knoxville. He buys $2,000 worth of substance and proceeds to hand it out.
$1,000 worth of fucking shit. I fucking give dope away all night for 2 days. They followed me. I had 5 or 6 agents following me for 2 days.
5 or 6 agents following him for 2 days. Why would someone feel like they needed to do that to prove they didn't have to do this that makes no sense. Now, Benny Keys has a conversation with Dawn, and I'll have to find it. And in that conversation, Benny was like, hey, man, you know, when you talked about going and getting that $2,000 worth of substances, he says, was that whiskey talk? I think you'd be really surprised to see how Don Wells answers that. It is very interesting. I'll have to find it and pull it up. I didn't pull up a lot of things today. Yeah, I get it. It doesn't make any sense. Because if they were following him, then that means he took them to his dealers' houses. And not only did he take them to wherever he purchased it from, but he also let them follow him around while he played Santa Claus and distributed all of that, right? That's weird. He doesn't say, yeah, I did that and I was handing it out in the holler and anywhere I could to see if any of these addicts will talk about my daughter. He never talked about Summer being missing. From my understanding, even when he was hoochie-cooing it with the lady of the night, he never mentioned Summer being missing. Just like Candace, when she had her little boyfriend, that she was like, oh, yeah, we can meet in Gatlinburg. I love Gatlinburg. Now, whether that is factual or not, I don't know. Because the problem is, you can make up so much shit on AI. I mean, there are ways to fake a lot of things, for sure. Just another day in the holler. Yeah, possibly.
And then when I was on the freeway and went home, they was on the freeway with me, and I brought them home except for one car.
See, and he's saying that they were on the freeway with him. He outran them all except for one car. Why would you tell a story like that? Seriously. Why the need to say that? I think anybody with common sense would be like, hey, I don't need to sell my daughter for substances. Instead, he goes and buys a shitload. Kind of weird. Kind of flipping weird.
But you know, people are watching. They probably don't care about you using drugs, to be honest.
It's hard to understand.
They do, but they don't. But I showed them.
They much rather. You showed them what, right?
I showed them that I don't need to fucking tell my fucking daughter to buy dope. I got plenty of money in my bank account.
Let me have some cigarettes, stop it.
Well, that's what I showed them. This is now.
Okay, that doesn't make any sense to me. You know, they talk about Dawn going to Knoxville, whether they're talking about actual Knoxville or not, you know. She does say back. Yeah, go back to his house, right. Yeah. But why did she even mention? My question was, Why even mention that? Why even mention that? Unless she just was remembering the exact conversation that they had, right?
People out here different shit. It doesn't make any sense to me. Oh, I get that, but they was the one talking to them first.
That's crazy.
They told me that they had information that I saved my daughter from going to a drug dealer for fucking dope. So I showed them different. I'm sorry.
How fucking petty ass can you be? They told him they had information that he did that. And he wanted to show him different. Make that make sense. Well, you can't make it make any freaking sense. For real.
Oh, I don't know if they really had interest. They'll lie to you, remember, they'll lie. That's what they did. And then they told me. They probably are tracking you. They probably have trackers on everything you...
Give me the timestamp on it, Sage. I've got it pulled up if you got the timestamp. Just give me the timestamp.
Every vehicle you follow, okay, but you know what happened now?
And I appreciate everybody being cool in chat. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for that.
After that, they called me into their office, Johnson's GBI office. They said, don't do that again.
Don't do that again. They slapped him on the hand, said, don't do it again. All right, I want to find the lady of the night conversation. I believe this might be it. Okay, hold on. Like I said, I have Killer Looks' link is in the description. Okay, this is a call for the lady of the night. Okay, thank you, Sage. I mean, you don't have to, girl. I've got it pulled up. I'd have found it, but it's easier if you can throw me where it's at.
Call.
Or the timestamp.
We are not much like Knoxville has. Well, Andy didn't mention it. Actually, Fred Hill mentioned it to me about Andy. Andy.
Okay, now they're trying to talk about Andy. She immediately goes to Andy Bernard going to Knoxville with Dawn. I really want to hear this verbiage. Okay.
So, Rita, this is a call for the Lady of the Night call.
The Lady of the Night call.
We are not much like Knoxville has.
We are not much like Knoxville. So, what does that tell us? That this isn't a Lady of the Night in Knoxville. Or the Lady of the Night's friend in Knoxville. 1355. Okay, darling, hold on. 1355. Okay, hold on. There's a commercial. There's a commercial. Okay, we'll listen to it real quick. Okay. This is where Candace says about Hunter going to her house.
And I don't remember what else I bought.
Okay, and that's the Food Lush?
No,
or
Priceless.
Priceless, okay.
Yes.
All right.
And then I was like, Hunter, you're not coming to the house. I'm sorry to tell you, but you're going back to your house.
Okay.
And I took him back to his house and dropped him off and left. And some.
Okay. That is what she said. That is what she said. You're not coming to my house. I'm taking you back to your house. Thank you, Sage.
Andy didn't mention it. Actually, Fred Hill mentioned it to me about Andy.
So Fred's the one who, well, Jody snitched on. Did Jody even snitch on Andy for that? Fred did though, right? Hey, Poppy. Which part is too much information? Which part, Poppy? All of it. Oh, the way that she said it. Yeah, I mean, she was kind of wanting Chris to know that for sure, right?
Andy, well, I called her today, and she said that when Don came down there, he was semi-legally, and like, he was kind of like too late to come down there to where she was at.
So Dawn would show this lady of the night a little favoritism and show up every 2 or 3 weeks. He would come down there, they said. Oh, yeah. Yes, I agree, Poppy. Why would she even say that? See, this is the thing. Dawn and Candace were both filler type of people. And what I mean when I say that is not necessarily, I don't know if they're touchy-feely. I'm not going to say that. I mean, obviously the SDA preacher was a touchy-feely guy. Robin Lane told us that about him. What I mean is they giving out more information than what they need to give out. It's like when they make a statement, they have a whole slew of verbiage to go along with it. Doesn't make any sense.
And he did bring somebody with him several times, but she never had any luck. Oh, man.
Don had somebody with him. They're not sure who he was. Of course, Ziggy, she wants all the dirt on Andy Bernard.
She saw a picture of him, but I wonder if she would know him. If she would know if it was him. I don't know. I was scared to take him out. I mean, she's making name. I'm not even she really how your name is like to, regular. Yeah, he was kind of like a hotel deal. Yeah. Like a hotel on the outside anyway, and then in the back it was another deal. Like in the back, maybe it was like a bar or something, or what? It was like a complicated drug.
So basically, this girl's saying that, yeah, there's the basic motel, but behind the motel, there's another establishment. And in this other establishment is where they were, doing the substance, whatever they were doing, right? Yes, absolutely, Poppy. That's the way it seems like. She was trying to be very convincing that that was absolutely said. But why would Hunter even express coming back to Candace's when he knew that he had an appointment at 3:30? Right? Why would that even be open for conversation? Why? Doesn't make any sense, right?
Oh, okay, so it was like one of those, like, kind of like, crappy motels. Mm-hmm. It was like 2 levels. There was like an underneath level to it, and then then on the outside, it's like a single level. Yeah. And back there, they can't bring really chicken and did you remember the name of the hotel? Yeah.
So, I don't know if this lady's actually a friend of the lady of the night. Well, this is the thing, Poppy. First, it was His girlfriend mom was coming to get him. He had a doctor's appointment. Then it said that he had an appointment with the probation officer, but then it was said that the probation officer was coming to Allie's house to meet with him. So there were, I mean, it just seems like no matter what the topic was, there's 3 or 4 different stories. 3 or 4 different stories to all of it.
Oh, like Playboy. Oh, yeah. So, like, him or the guy that... He was like the boss of the whole ring down there. Was he a regular of her? Yeah. He was a regular of hers and many others. Oh, many others. Wow. Yeah, pretty much 5 to 7 girls there at all that.
5 to 7 girls there at one time is what they said. Now, let me ask you guys this. Is it really a big deal if Dawn was going and hooking up with prostitutes? Was that really a big deal? I don't know. I personally don't think so. It ain't a big deal to me. It might have been a big deal to Candace, but I mean, we know Dawn's weird. We know about stealing the red panties. We know about that. I think Benny even said Dawn came back from one of these little trips, and Candace wanted Benny to look in the car, and I think Benny said he found some underwear there. I could be wrong. I'm just remembering the story as it's coming into my mind. And so, yeah. Right?
She's scared of what? She's scared of the guy on the bike.
She's scared of the guy on the bike. She's scared of the guy on the bike. Who is the guy on the bike? Inquiring minds want to know. Did Fred know all of the substance dealers where Dawn was going and hanging out? Did Fred know them people? Let me say this. Don't forget, Fred came out with this story that was sent to, I believe, the TBI tip line by his wife, stating that Dawn Wells wanted Fred Hill to run interference on with some of the substance people and to basically keep them from coming and possibly taking the boys. Yet Fred says that Dawn did not say to him that that is what happened with Summer. So he's like, he wants me to go talk to these, you know, these individuals to keep them from doing something with the boys, but yet Dawn never said that that is what happened with Summer. That is what he said. You can go back and find it if you want to and read it verbatim like it was written on the tip line. I never I'm like, okay. She's scared of a guy on a bike. The only thing we knew about motorcycles was, you know, Fred and him hauling a motorcycle or whatever the story was. We also knew that A guy named Bill rode a motorcycle also. We knew about that. She's scared of the guy on the bike. That's interesting.
Oh, really? Like the Habib guy? Yeah, the pants. Oh my God. Yeah, that makes sense. And they think whatever. But she left. So she stayed lived there at this place pretty much. Yeah, they all live there.
And then on separate occasions, Don Wells and Jody Sue's boyfriend, Andrew Bernard, would run off at night and be gone 3 to 4 days. According to Jody Sue, Don Wells would put his vehicle in neutral and sneak off the property and go to Knoxville.
That is what Jody said. That Don would put his vehicle in neutral and sneak off the property to go to Knoxville. Why would Don need to sneak off the property to do that? I don't think Candace ever stopped him. Why would he have to sneak? Right? Yeah, you're right, Poppy. A lot of lies. A lot of lies.
Check it out.
He would just sneak off in the line, and I know by the next morning, Candace would be like, hey, did you hear Don? I'm like, yep. And we'd know that he would be gone. Yeah, it's just like Monster, he had his patterns too. And so in that way, we knew when each were doing their runoffs or whatever it was, but.
Now, this is the thing. You just heard what Jody said. But Jody isn't saying that Andy was with Dawn. She just saying the pattern's the same, is what Jody's saying. That the patterns are the same.
Hey, did you hear Don? I'm like, yep. And we'd know that he would be gone. Yeah, it's just like Monster, he had his patterns too. And so in that way, we knew when each were doing their runoffs or whatever it was, but yeah. But they were pretty open about it. Plus, everybody around the area knew.
When she went missing, they usually won't talk to nobody. They say on you and stuff. But as soon as she went missing, they didn't leave that road down. They stayed in there for 3 days.
Oh, this is Fred talking about Andy and Jody.
Being said. I mean, it just made me feel like it was
Paranoid?
Yeah.
She doesn't.
Okay, when Fred talked about Andy and Jody being at the bottom of the hill for 3 days, that's like the pot calling the kettle black, right? Fred was even, tasked with recording them, he says, right? That's what he says.
The 4th day, he takes off Knoxville and don't come back for over a month. And they get a restraining order against each other and everything.
Murders, overdoses, fires, assaults.
That's
Police
true.
records obtained by 10 News show all of these criminal activities are taking place in some of Knoxville's motels.
You guys remember that? When they did a news article on the motels and stuff that was going on in the motels. I always wondered if, exactly what was happening with that. Kind of weird.
And, when they come out of this home, he's coming there, he found water drugs, then leave. And he said, the party, and she was sitting there, and she said, yeah, she grabbed the backpack. And she's like, I'm just, jumping out and leaving. And she was calling her, just get away. But she talked to me to bring her back in the bottle.
She's very hard to understand.
And she said he got crazy. He was off their religion, and he was not religion. Yeah, he was there for religion, but he was skeptical, how she said.
Isn't that, how freaking weird is that, right? Oh, they all talked about Don running off. I don't necessarily think he ran off. I think his ass just got in his truck and was like, I'm out of here. Now, probably, did he tell Candace where he was going? Probably not. I mean, I'm sure he wasn't going to tell her where he was going, but how weird is it that you go to a motel, You're paying a lady of the night, and in that process, you're talking religion to her. You're not mentioning your daughter's missing, but you're going to talk about religion. Okay. Alrighty then. Yeah, binging for the weekend. Right. I think everywhere has their motels. They are everywhere.
She was trying to pacify me, she was studying, and she wasn't telling me to take her back there. So, she said that she could have let her like that. Oh, well, yeah, he does come off like a nice guy. But I don't know how he is like crack. But it was crack that he would purchase, correct? Yeah, it was kind of anything, she said, a lot of different drugs? Yeah. Was he into anything? They were taking meds down there, heroin and crack, and pills.
Okay, so she's associating him with all kinds of substances, not just the crack as whack, right? Oh, yeah, a storage unit. Well, that's a good place. Kind of private, right? A storage unit? Wow.
Did she give you did she tell you when she left or? This past? Wow, so just past Christmas? Just this past Christmas? Yeah. Did she know about missing Summer or Summer?
Never mentioned Summer missing.
So she saw him after Summer went missing. Yeah. But he never mentioned anything about that. Oh my gosh.
And Candace doesn't mention it to some dude that she's, communicating back and forth with. She doesn't mention Summer being gone either. Why? Why not? There's probably, there could be 1,000 freaking reasons, right, for that. Everybody had one. I don't have a storage unit, but I don't think I would be working out of one. I'm too freaking old.
It's just like it's here. But I think somebody straight back here. I love you, lady. Anyway, it's not somebody else. You know, she's not the owner for that. They were like a housing development, or the house or whatever. Uh-huh. And they up there. Get to there.
This lady's saying that Don actually took the lady of the night to a house where he had been working.
Did they get drugs there, or did they go to get drugs? They just get drugs there. Okay.
They get them there.
$3,000 on front before he went there.
$3,000 up front before he went there. $3,000 worth of stuff. Huh. Up front. Up front.
You got fronted $3,000 worth of dough? Yeah, that's what she said. Oh my God. So, okay, so you went out that much. You want that much.
So this lady's saying Don owed that much money. He paid, then he turned around and got fronted about $3,000 more. The thing about that is, this was supposed to be after Summer went missing, is what it sounds like to me. So, is there any relevance to that, I don't know. Right?
He came there with 3,000 owing, or with the money. Well, 3,000, and then he still has 3,000 on the left. So his mother is living. Wow, this is like fascinating to me. She didn't tell me shit. She didn't know anything about the liberal. Period. Okay, so she left. She said he never looked at anything about it. Christmas, and never. But, and he said that when he went to go home, he said, "I wish I could help you more." You know, he said, "But mom loving kids, you know, or home, and I can't, you know, take you there, blah, blah, blah." And she's like, "Well, you done that."
Well, wait, because now she just said something about Dawn saying something about the kids being at home. I'm confused.
You know, he said, "But mom loving kids, you know, or home, and I can't, you know, take you there, blah, blah, blah." And she's like, "Well, you done that." I'm fine, you know, my sister mom can do it. And so, okay, so that house Candace that he left her at, or that they did drugs at, yeah, I bet that's one of the houses that he was working on at the time.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, I bet that's.
I do not see, and this is just me, Dawn taking someone to the housing edition where he was doing work for Tucker and letting that girl not only party with her there, but leaving her in one of those homes for someone else to come pick her up. But I don't know. I don't fucking know. Maybe, Lorianne. Could have been. Could have been, girl.
Yeah. She could probably go to Molly the Whiteley's or Low Corn Betty.
This is what gets me. The minute that someone tells an individual to go watch YouTube channels, kind of takes away some of the, I don't want to say credibility, but I don't understand that. Why you would recommend going and watching YouTube channels.
Low, and they show when they go and confront Dawn and Candace. Over there, one of this housing edition. I bet it might be the same one.
Oh, the housing edition.
She didn't tell her that he doesn't want to come down. Tell her, you know, that she got him apples in Knoxville about her. She said he doesn't want to come down to there. So, I mean, he doesn't want to walk like to apparently. Yeah, I wonder if it was Jonesboro where they stopped in that housing edition. She don't really know. She said she also was high. So, I mean, she was trying to tease him and just trying to say, you know. Right.
Trying to tease him. All right. This is where we heard the name Playboy mentioned. You guys, give me 1 second, please. 1 second. Okay. Sorry, I had to get up and stretch my leg for a minute. All right, let me get this finished. I'm going to pull my notes back up.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord.
He's dangerous. Wow. So how was he supposed to go back to that motel again if he never brought her back? That's how it. And that's what he told her. He said, well, hold on, I'll probably be mad because of this. He's going to kick you out of there. You know the guy that came with Dawn was the same person each time? Yeah, she said really the same guy. She didn't say whether she didn't know his name, but she said she really didn't know his name, really. She didn't know, like, she didn't describe him in any way.
Dawn, who was the dude you were taking and letting him hang out with your women of the night? Come on and let us know. We want to know. I don't know if that has anything to do with summer or not, but hang on, I'm fixing me another cup of coffee. My last cup of coffee for the day. I don't want to get all jittery. Jittery. Hang on. Hold on, everybody. All right. None of this makes a whole lot of sense to me, but nothing does make a whole lot of sense to me anymore. Yeah, you can hardly understand her sometimes. There was a lot of traffic and they would be delivered to other people. They would be delivered to other people. From what, that's against the law. That right there, if they were delivering women to different states, especially different states, then that would be, and they were getting paid, that would be trafficking. Right? Okay. Just fucking crazy. I don't know what that is. I don't know if I want to read these or not. This is, of course, about Andy. Something about Andy was locked up with a few years ago. Well, why aren't you showing the name? Okay, I don't know. Anyway, he came in. Oh, that's when they're talking about the, oh shit. Hang on. Damn it. What the fuck happened? Ow. Ow. Damn. Damn. I've got closed caption on, Donna. I do, ma'am. That is what you're seeing. The closed captioning is on. Okay, so this is just the text where, remember the guy came into Andy Bernard's job and recognized Andy and took Andy out to a van where there was a bunch of ladies, and he basically told Andy he could have his pick. Remember that? Donna, honey, I always put on closed caption if the channel that I'm commentating on does not have it up. I cannot control that, but I do try to have my closed captioning up. I really do. I try always to. All right, I'm finishing this.
And what was really weird is she said that she was coming out the burgers, you know, on face. Yeah. Looking like that, but he kept saying, he shouldn't have said like that, he shouldn't have done this, that, to her. He said, one of y'all should kill him. And she said, no, I'll be in prison, that's my house. She said, down there, that's my friend in the aisle.
Why are they talking about unaliving somebody? Why? Why would you need to talk about that? For sure. That's a little cray-cray. That's pretty wild.
And he was like, well, no case, no case. And she said, what do you mean? She said, well, if they don't find him, they can't charge you with anything. Oh my God. She said, she's trying to get him, but I brush it off, and she's like, he just dropped him off in the sewer, or put him in a septic tank, and nobody wanted to tell him. He said, the gas with them, you know, he's hearing his body faster. He said, I was protected.
That's hard to
know
about.
People still couldn't take some down that to this day. Oh my God. She said, if it was a fraud or what, but she just was trying to get him on this like mom and just, you know. And then he was going to preach about Bible and stuff. Oh my God. Is this something that he was really psychotic?
You can't really understand it.
Was this said? Yeah. Was this said like since Summer went missing? Like so all this? Oh, she only saw him in December. That's the only time, or no? She seen him many times before then. But when she came home with him was in December. Was when he was saying the septic about the septic tank? Yeah. Yeah. Oh my God, dude.
Now, how would she know what Dawn was saying about the septic system and stuff? I don't know. I do not know. I'm going to pull my notes up. We'll just, whatever page I end up on. I've got Bullhorn Betty phone calls with Dawn. I've got all kinds of shit. For sure. So, Summer could have walked off. She could have been taken off. It could have been planned. She could have been sold, trafficked. We heard about a Snuffy Snuff video, I guess. Could have been an accident. It could have been Dawn being mad. Maybe pissed off that Candace even hooked up with Hunter that day. I don't mean hooked up as in something perverted. Hey, Chris. You know, we can talk about the church, Robin Lane, David Dodson, you know, this text saying it's done. Jody's pretty much came out and said that was a part of a conversation. It was weird the way she described that. We know Grandma left soon after Summer got gone. Did Grandma have anything to do with possibly her going missing? We know there was water and ponds around the property that they said were checked. So Molly Golightly allegedly spoke to someone that lived right up the hill, and this woman said that she hears everything, the screaming, the cursing, the yelling. That was going on way before Summer went missing. Okay. Let's see. All right. Those are grandma conversations. Grandma conversations. Even those text messages from grandma to, I can't remember exactly who she was talking to, right? I think in one of them, she even asked if the person liked women. It was really weird, right? Let's see what I got here. Pick a page, RC, any page. Candace did talk about the kids, though, at some point, and, made little comments that the oldest was the pickiest eater out of the three. Dawn ate out a lot. Just too much. I know people probably don't believe I've got all these freaking notes, but I really do have all these notes. I just can't show you. It will not let me, it's on the Word. The thing about the bars and, the different organizations and stuff, we heard the guy coming out talking about Ernie and meeting Ernie, and that was all at the Hay House. And these individuals, a lot of them know of each other, but it doesn't mean that they were buddying and hanging out with each other for years and stuff. A lot of these people have crossed paths in their lives, being from these areas. Right? I mean, that's like Ernie saying that he had met Dawn years before, doing something, working on a house, or I can't remember what Ernie said. I'd have to go back and listen to what he said exactly, because I didn't, you don't know whether you can believe Ernie or not. So when he said he knew Don Wells from years before from a job site or something, you gotta kind of take it with a grain of salt, because it was Ernie, and Ernie had never came out and said that before. So, that is just putting in the Ernie said it, but I don't know if I believe it file, right? So, trying to figure out what actually happened that day is difficult, to say the least. Candace and Don Wells have a story to tell, but mostly try to stay on script and downplay their outrageous behavior. Dawn seeming to take the lead in interviews, and Grandma Candace only speaking recently, having left 110 Ben Hill Road quickly after Summer went missing. Past tense is used frequently by the Wells, saying it's just a slip up, always apologizing and correcting themselves as if they know each word is being scrutinized. We put together what we can to learn, to theorize what could have happened that day, trying to pinpoint a timeline that changes frequently, with so many involved saying they don't keep track of time. Most interviews that they do is to discredit what others are saying. everyone contradicting the all-American family scenario they laid out for all to see. Dawn and Candace thought we should believe only them. Most interviewers had a motive for asking the hard questions, and Dawn and Candace would become angry when they felt it wasn't going the way they wanted, trying to convince anyone who would listen that if they would just become their friend, then they could convince you of their innocence, bringing to light lies and deception and dysfunctionality that one could only imagine, running so deep it leaves a person confused to the truth. All involved seem not to want to tell the truth, because to do so would be to tell on themselves. Then we can start on June 15th. Tuesday, June 15th, 2021. Seemed to start out as a normal day for Don Wells, he says. Waking up early around 6:30, 7 o'clock. I'm sorry, let me rewind that a bit. Waking up early about 6:37 with Summer beside him, her little foot tucked under him, causing him an ache in his back. He kind of covered her up a little without waking her and left the house anywhere from 7 to 8. To begin his 45-minute journey to Jonesboro, where he stopped for his usual fast food breakfast before beginning his job as a drywaller. He cannot say exactly what time he arrived, seeming not to remember the last thing Summer said to him, but brings to mind Don talking about the last picture he had with Summer. Remembers clearly saying, Summer, you got to sleep in your own bed, and she would come back with big old crocodile tears and say, but Daddy, I want to be with you. And he couldn't say no. Every night for 5 years she slept with him. We know that's not true. And Candace sleeping there periodically if she made it to the basement after a night of drinking. Dawn said she had to be by me, just had to be by me. She loved me to death, he exclaimed. Now, we had heard from Dawn himself talk about Candace, and her alcohol abuse problem, right? He basically even told us what time she started drinking. Right? Morning times, he said, wasn't good, right? He said it's not a good thing to piss Candace off in the morning time, right? So we can assume that Candace's morning didn't start out as peaceful, being hungover, which Dawn says is not a good scene. She had to wake Summer early to take her mother to the hospital, which we know, Holston Valley, because of problems she was having with her knee, having a knee replacement, a trip to Gatlinburg with 3 rambunctious boys who had supposedly kicked her. It had become very sore and inflamed. Candace saw her mother's knee and felt that she should go to the hospital. Her leg was messing up on her, and they were afraid that something more was wrong with it. Candace stated that the kids sometimes slept until noon if she allowed it. Now, she said that Summer would sleep, and on this morning, June 15th, she had to wake Summer up early to go to that hospital. She was allegedly at the hospital by 8, which would have had her getting Summer up and into the vehicle by 25 till 8, right? because it's like a 25-minute drive. Candace said she woke up Summer, put her in a swimming suit, something small and thin to help keep her cool while sitting in the hot truck. We know that she gets to the hospital around 8 o'clock. She doesn't have a conversation with Hunter until 10:30, right? So that would mean that they were hanging out in the parking lot or somewhere else that we possibly don't know about until she went and picked up Hunter. So she put Summer in the swimsuit, what she called Tennessee Warm. Candace said she didn't like using the air conditioner in the truck. Said she would keep the windows down to feel the breeze. Didn't Allie try to say that the windows, it was hot and the windows were up or some shit like that? Now, in the very beginning, and I'm not going to say this is true, I think this is just something, yes, Chris. Right? So, oh, wait, what was I saying? Okay. She basically called it Tennessee Warm and that day and said that she didn't like to use the air conditioning in the truck. She would keep the windows down to feel the breeze. Now, I told you guys what time Donwell said that he got up and left the house that day. He said the times that he said could have put him there when Candace left that morning with Summer. He said he just covered her up. He would have had to have left around 7:30. He had to have left right before they left. See, because I always wondered why, if Don loved Summer that much, and I would have thought that if he was there, he would have, he absolutely would have carried her to the car. Right? But that's just the way I think. You guys know I'm weird. I think weird shit. Okay, so let me get back to it. The boys were left home and were between sleeping and playing on their devices. On the boys and their ages, I'm just not going to put that out there right now. So, taking Grandma Candace to the ER at Holston Valley Medical Center, arriving around 8. Now, no one knows for sure exactly how long Grandma was there. We are just going by whatever Candace told us, right? I'm sure law enforcement knew exactly when they got there and exactly when they left. But Candace waited in the parking lot where she said she received a call from a 15-year-old family friend or vice versa who asked what she was doing. Explaining that they were at the hospital for her mother, he asked if they wanted to come over to his home in Kingsport. She told him if it was okay with his mother, Allison. Upon waking her up, she said okay to a short visit, telling them her grandmother would be arriving. Allison's grandmother, would be arriving, and she didn't like Candace, so it would have to be brief. Listen. Hunter's home was approximately 5 minutes from the hospital. What had Candace and Summer been doing for two and a half hours before picking up Hunter? Right? What could be looked at as strange, though, is the correspondence taking place on June 4, 2021 at 3:41 p.m. A text from Hunter to Candace showing that there was a missed video call, and Hunter saying, yo. Candace replies, yo. Hunter says, come visit me. She says, okay, after I get Grandma from the hospital. Did Grams go with you or stay with Allie? H replies. Stayed with Allie. Candace says, oh, okay. Was Grandma Candace at the hospital that day also? Why does the 4th and the 15th of June's communications seem to mimic each other? Also, many times not being invited, it was said that Candace would show up at Allison's mother's, right, to see Allison's children, and would also just show up to talk to Allison, seeming to miss her friend after the falling out they had in October of 2020. Allison said she allowed the visits, saying that what transpired between her and Candace were not the kids' fault. Her children loved Summer. And I'm going to end it right there. I'm shredding no bills in the out chat. Oh, thank you guys. Thank you. Well, I mean, this is all I want to say about that. I love looking at my notes, and I love having the conversations that we have. My intention is at some point, yes, to get this done. I would like to get it done before, my end of days. I want to try to make sure that it is factual. I just want to do it justice. I really do. I just don't want to just write a bunch of crap just to get a book out about Summer. That's not what I want to do. I want to make sure that it, somehow it really shows that that this little girl means a lot to me and means a lot to you guys too. For sure. I don't go out here and talk about it because all people would do is cut me down. I mean, I've had people who found out I was writing a book, and, the first thing they did was, cut me down. Oh, there, she's going to write a book, and to each their own. I mean, they can think whatever they want to think, but, I know what my heart tells me, and, that's what's going to guide me through finishing it. I remember when the preacher guy wrote the book and he was using what YouTubers were saying and, what YouTubers thought and things like that. And I I don't necessarily want to get onto that topic, because what people don't understand, I just read a whole list of things that could have happened to Summer. Anybody can pick whatever, you know, whatever topic they feel that, they're interested in, and, go at Summer's case in that angle. We could talk about trafficking, and have a whole book just on trafficking in the area and Tennessee and different things like that. So I want to be real careful and not, get stuck on one certain thing, because I think that, not knowing what happened to her, we just don't know what happened to her. For sure. But we'll get her done. We sure will. I am going to start working on a little bit more. I am. Love it. Love it, love it. So, I mean, if you, like I said, I've got 10 minutes, y'all. 10 minutes. So, I mean, we talked about Dawn until you can't even hardly talk about Dawn anymore. Everything he's said and done is, he's pretty much come out and said it, and then turn around. And so you got Candace and her freaking shenanigans. Then you got Tim Mullins acting like he's a top secret agent and doesn't want people to know about him. We all know that he is allegedly the PR guy, manager, whatever that means. I just don't know how anybody could. I don't know. I don't know. Well, Chris, that, you know what? Honestly, I keep waiting on that. I keep waiting on that. What a wonderful ending it would be to say, she's been found, she's safe, she's been loved and taken care of. That would be a wonderful thing. That would be a wonderful thing. For sure. For sure, for sure. I mean, yeah, the media manager. The media manager. But no, I don't, that's the whole thing. Like when we talk about the reward fund, and we talk about the marathon, and we talk about, all that different stuff. And I have no desire to write about that. I really don't. I mean, this is the thing. There are a lot of people who were doing things out of the kindness of their heart. Out of the kindness of their heart. And, it was sad to me that these people who were doing things out of the kindness of their heart, people were saying things or doing things to get them in trouble and blah, 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 it was really sad. But of course there were people that, were doing it because they knew that they could profit off of it. Absolutely. It was known very quickly after Summer went missing that her name was going to draw a lot of money in. A lot of money. For sure. Now, as far as I'm concerned, I'm not even going to monetize this live. because I've been talking about summer. So I'm not going to run ads on it or anything like that. And I encourage you guys, come over, let's talk. Ask me some freaking questions. I don't mind looking something up. You know, I don't mind pulling something up and listening to the way it was said or something like that. I just, you know, that's the way it should be anyhow. I mean, for sure. But you know, her birthday's coming up. It's just, and I'm not even going to sit here and say that on her birthday, I'm going to use her birthday to even go over it. I like going and watching other people that, you know, pull up different pictures and stuff like that. And, you know, I've always enjoyed, you know, other people and their content on summer, for sure. So, I mean, I guess I could go ahead and monetize it. Everybody else does, right? I gotta take that music out of it first anyway. I know. I always play a song and then I gotta take the song out. For sure. For sure. I don't know what happened with Ernie. I think Lisa's talking about him if you guys want to check that out. Go check out Flies. She's got a real cute picture of a tiger and the squirrel SWAT team. For sure. Go check out, like I said, the links that I have in my description. And just remember that Summer is still missing. Somebody needs to find her. I didn't even change my banner. That sucks. Hold on. I apologize for that. I didn't even pay any attention. Hold on. Here it is. Summer Wells has been missing since June 15, 2021 from her home in eastern Tennessee. No relevant information has been given to law enforcement to our knowledge, nor has any information that some of the locals have given to social media given us any idea or hope to what happened to her or finding her. If you have any relevant information, please call 1-800-TBI-FIND, hashtag Justice for Summer. Please, someone knows something. Stop the games. Bring Summer home. Copyright disclaimer. What's the matter, Sage? Hey, Moonflower. Oh, you're fine, Sage. Girl, let me tell you, I know I have trouble typing and shit too. For sure. For sure, for sure. Thank you, Poppy. Thank you. I appreciate. Thank you, everybody, for being really cool in chat today. I appreciate that so much. And we will definitely have some more conversations about this topic for sure. And like I said, I'm a Googler. I love to Google stuff. So absolutely, I don't mind pulling different things up to hear the exact verbiage of what's being said, because I think that's very important. I think that's important. Okay, I'm getting off here. Thanks, Flies, for popping in. I don't know where she went. She popped in for a minute. But thank you. thank you guys for the encouragement. I really appreciate it. And believe me, you all will be the first to know when I get it finished for sure. So, all right, peace out. Be you, do whatever in the heck you want to do. You're all grown adults. Nobody can tell you any different. For sure. Oh, hang on. This is that site. Oh, I was going to show Mama Bear a site we were looking at. Hang on. Because I don't know how to send it to you, lady. All right, really quick. This is it. Oprah, O-P-R-A machine. Check it out, lady. Yep, I got my degree at Google University. You better believe it. And look, I don't mind saying I got it from Google University at all. Google's just like people. When you pull it up and you see what's said, it's up to you whether to believe it or not. If you don't believe something that Google says, just Google the right answer. I don't know. Google this and Google that. Absolutely, Lorianne. Justice for Summer. Justice for Summer. Thank you guys for the conversation, though. I do. I appreciate good conversation when I'm talking about summer. So, all right, go have fun. I will catch you guys later. Peace out. Please stay warm. Later. Later, peeps. Peace out, guys.